Fascists love generative AI. Fascism is the ideology of the dead. It's a hatred of humanity and life and art and love. And for that reason, fascists almost universally adore generative AI, which is weird because historically they've presented themselves as like, you know, return to Roman, you know, Renaissance paintings, whatever, but they never cared about artistry, you know. They never liked the Sistine Chapel because of Michelangelo's hard work. They like the Sistine Chapel because it conveys power and God's authority, you know. They don't give a fuck about art. It could be anything. The Sistine Chapel could be AI generated and it would make no difference whatsoever to them. It's mostly liberals though. No, I disagree. I think that the overlap between people who are really weirdly hyped about generative AI and the like Peter Thiel esque Silicon Valley crypto fascist types, like that is a very strong overlap. There are definitely a lot of liberals who are kind of casually interested in generative AI because they're just sort of hyped about tech, but it's kind of the same with like there's a difference between being casually excited about the tech and being like actively maliciously hateful towards artists, which a lot of fascists are. A lot of the people who promote AI generative artwork actually fucking hate artists. AI art is perfect for fascism. It's just endlessly recycling the actual art of the past, and it doesn't need any new artists. Artists tend to be progressive, free thinking. I'm generalizing, but like relative to the societies that produce them, generally speaking, this is true. You know, queer, difficult to predict, eccentric. None of these fit in the model of fascism. Artists are an inconvenient obstacle to fascist thinking, which is why fascists idealize art from the past, because those artists are dead and only their legacy remains to be idealized in retrospect. The production of new art is an anathema to the fascist mindset, because it would mean having to, you know, tolerate artists, which artists and fascism just tend not to mesh well, you know? You have some variety to this, like Italian futurism, I guess, or there are some like very specific sort of artistic modalities that correspond well to fascism, but they usually tend to be kind of brutalist, actually, you know, all like steel and jutting architectural features and like harsh, cold stone. You know, you get that with like the like Mussolini's you know, the CCCC building, the fascist headquarters. You have like weird stuff like that that can survive, but for the most part, yeah, fascism is the death of art. Did you think it was a coincidence that basically every single fascist account on Twitter loves AI generating like Norman Rockwell style 1950s paintings? Not even using the original ones, but AI generating worse versions of them? Because that way they get to keep the iconography while killing the artist. Here's an example of Wolfenstein's predicted future Nazi architecture. See, this is actually something that I don't like about how Nazis tend to be depicted. There are things here that I like, and there are things here that I don't like. The rectangular jutting from these towers is too avant-garde for Nazi architecture. The return to Zeppelins is totally in line. I love the dome in the background. Nazis and the American founding fathers were both obsessed with neoclassicism because neoclassicism is a dumb, dead architectural movement, you fucking cowards. What if we showcase that we're the heritage of the intellectual tradition of the European by making, what if we did like the Roman Greek, well, like the white pillars? What is creativity? What is anything? So I do like this a lot, you know? Another thing worth considering, by the way, is that considering like the Nazis existed from the 20s to the 40s, basically. But if the Nazis were around today, which they are, right? They're just not called the Nazis, but we know what like far-right governance looks like. They would be very pro-car. So say hello to your gigantic interurban freeways. Say hello to like 6-lane stroads cutting through everything. Fascism is all about alienation and isolation. So the idea of like densely packed residential areas, that's gone, you know, especially in America, because this is oh, this is Berlin. This isn't America. Okay, that's fine. Still, even in Berlin, I maintain the point. It would be very inhuman in that respect, I feel. There are still things that I like, though. I really like the incorporation of this like gigantic, ugly, and neoclassicist architecture. I think that looks good. Well, I mean, I think it looks terrible, but I think it's ideologically appropriate. Pretty sure the dome is actually supposed to be the massive government building Hitler was planning to build on top of Berlin. How fucking fitting. Oh my god, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's the exact, like, we have no creativity. We have no interest in iterating or developing anything uniquely or artistically interesting. We must return with a V. Roman neoclassicism, Roman neoclassicism, Roman neoclassicism. Big for no reason, even though it's ugly and boring to look at, because fascists love giant buildings because it's like a big fucking waving dick. It's a fucking powerboat, you know. Like, it looks like a giant tit because they're all Freudian fucks. Yeah, it's perfect. The only like real shift here is there's no way these trees would have survived. They would have done something stupid with this area too. They would have cleared it and made it like plain grass or something.